Hey everyone, welcome to this MobiFlight video tutorial episode today. My name is Sebastian. I'm the creator of the MobiFlight platform, and MobiFlight is your open source solution for building your own awesome home cockpits based on Arduino hardware. In this tutorial today, we're going to learn about custom variables and events that are supported by MobiFlight 8.0 now and work with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And we will also learn of how to look some of them events up yourselves in case that you need it, because the presets that ship with MobiFlight are at this point not 100% complete and probably will never be. Okay, so the cool thing about this tutorial today is actually that it has been prepared by Ruffler, who is a great guy from our MobiFlight community, and he's an active user on our MobiFlight Discord server. By the way, in the description, I've put the link to the Discord server, so in case you haven't signed up yet, use this link and join. All right, Ruffler, so many thanks to you, and here comes your tutorial.
Hello everyone interested in custom variables and events to use with MobiFlight 8.0 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'm Roffler from the MobiFlight community Discord server, and in this video I'm going to show you what variables and events we have and what they do, what limitations we can expect using them, how we can identify these variables and events inside MSFS 2020, how we can use these variables and events in MobiFlight, and last but not least, some basic troubleshooting you can use when you face some troubles. Before we start, a short disclaimer: the information in this video was gathered by myself, and some information might be incomplete. Some steps might be incomplete, and if you find a better workflow for yourself and would like to share it with the community, you are free to do so, and it would be much appreciated. So the very first question, and one of the most important questions: what are variables and events, and what kind of events and variables do we have? Once again, we have variables and events. Variables, we have L variables, which are basically LVARs from the FSX and P3D times. These variables are global variables, and basically the L is a little bit misleading. So they are globally, but are locally, so to speak, for some aircrafts. Then we have the A variables. A variables are airplane variables. However, they work from other sim objects like ground vehicles or some other commands. For example, the parking brake, which I will provide a short example later on. Then we have H variables. These are the new HTML variables used by the new HTML5 and JavaScript Gorge system. MobiFlight created a WASM module, WebAssembly module, to use the H variables, and in this video we are going to identify how to use them properly. O variables are variables stored locally, and they store some sim object states within an XML behavior. K events are not particular variables. They are, as the name implies, events, and basically they are keyboard commands. So whenever you press a keyboard key, it will send out a command to the simulator, and this command will do something. So basically the K events, they are the legacy events we know, which are already implemented in MobiFlight. So whenever we press a button, like the parking brake, it will also affect an A variable, the airplane variable. So whenever the state turns on, for example, the LED turns on. That's the basic system. From these 5 variables and events, we can use only 2 at this time. These are the H and the K events, and this is also our focus in this video. So we are not going to take a look at L, A, or O events, or better to say variables, because they are not accessible at this time. People around the world are looking into steps how we can access the L variables, and I'm sure that we can soon access them as well. So, what limitations can we expect? The system is currently a write-only system, so whenever we send a command to the simulator, we just can send that and not receive it. So meaning we are not going to connect the events and variables to LEDs, for example. So we are not able to get an output from these custom variables and events. There is a workaround, however. It is not that simple and it's not that straightforward as you would expect. So you would need to write a custom FSU IPC offset to create a new state whenever you press this specific button, and then you can read this state from the outputs menu in MobiFlight, and read the state of the switch basically, and not the state of the event or variable. Özgür Ergül created an awesome FCU. There's a Facebook post you can follow. He helped me out quite a lot in having this workaround ready and useful for myself. So if you have questions regarding this, contact either him or myself. We are gladly assisting you. The other limitation is inconsistency. Some variables are working, some are not. Others might work in a different way than you would think. Keep in mind the mod, the fly-by-wire mod, is a community mod as well, and even though they have implemented some quality assurance steps, some H variables and K events, or better to say H variables, they are not properly named sometimes, but overall the system is very, very decent. So one last bit of information regarding the H variables. H variables are not custom offsets. So basically whatever the aircraft developer writes in the code, we can access through the H variables. Everything else is not accessible to us. So it's not comparable to FSU IPC. Basic troubleshooting. I faced some troubles in the past, like everyone else, and these are my steps, what I'm following. Basically restart my simulator if something happens. Sometimes I forget to restart FSU IPC after I close the simulator or restart the simulator. So that might be one step you should take a look at. Restart MobiFlight, which also restarts somewhat the Arduino boards. Check if MobiFlight event module is really inside the community folder, or if you forget that step. And what happened most to me is whenever I edited the appropriate files, you will see in a bit, I forget to save them. So always check that the files are saved. And if you have some troubles or if you're missing an important step, check out the Discord server, the MobiFlight community Discord server, and people there are really helpful, really friendly, and they will help you out gladly. Switching to the simulator, the first thing we want to do is to activate the developers mode. And to do so, we go into the options, general, and then in developers, we make sure that the developer mode is turned on. So, as you know, MobiFlight comes with some already pre-defined variables and events. And for example, if we want to program the constraint button here in MobiFlight, we can do that. We just give it a name, for example, EFIS CSTR, for example, and then pick a button we want to program, constraint button, pick the MSFS 2020 events, EFIS captain for this one here, and then constrain button. So you can see these buttons, they are already there and we can use them, we can program them, everything is fine with it. But what do you do if you want to program a different button? So let's say we want to program this engine button on the eCam panel. We need to identify the variable to control this button, and to do so we click the Windows button on top in the developers bar, model behavior, and the first thing we want to do is to pick the cockpit of the A320neo. To do so we simply go into the search bar and type in int for interior and then pick the A320neo interior XML. Now we are inside the cockpit and can search for this engine button here. So to do so, we just type ENG in the component search, and we have a lot of components to choose from, and we pick our component, which is we want to program. So the push eCam ENG, for example. And as you already can see, the root component is Airbus ICAS with the child push eCam ENG. The first thing we want to check is if the entry Asobo GT push button is available to us. And in this case we are lucky and it is available. And scanning the code, you can already identify we have here an H variable and an L variable. But as we cannot access L variables, we need to use the H variable right now to push this ENG button. In some cases, the Asobo GT button, push button, is not available to us. What we can do is we can scroll down and then we have here mouse erect, and we can see here the code as well. So in order to program this button inside MobiFlight, we need to edit two files, the events.txt, and inside this file we need to add a little bit further down where the Airbus starts a new section. Doing so with two forward slashes, we comment out that the program is not using this line, and we simply add eCam panel. So the very basic thing we want to do is to simply copy this line here. So the variable name A320neo ICAS to eCam change page ENG without the H. So we are doing that, A320 neo ICAS to eCam change page ENG. We want to copy this already because we need to adjust another file right now and save the adjusted file. Now we need to go into our MobiFlight installation folder, which is in my case this one here. Go into presets and edit MSFS 2020 events ID. And what we want to do here is we want to add a new group to choose from. And we have our A320 section coming up here. And we simply add a new section, A32X, fly-by-wire eCam panel. And then with the colon group, you tell MobiFlight that the section below is a group. And we paste our variable right here. And we are done with editing the two files. We can close them. And that's it. So what we need to do now is restart the simulator and check if everything worked out. Okay, so after reloading the simulator, we want to check if everything worked out as we have planned, and don't forget to start FSUI PC again and MobiFlight connector. And to see if everything worked out, we go into the inputs section, give it a name like eCam engine, hit edit, choose the button we want to program, and then from the MSFS 2020 events we created the group eCam panel, and inside this group we have one function and this variable, this event. We will choose that, click active, click on start, and then when we press the button you can see it changes the status and back and forth. One last thing I would like to show you is how you can identify if your variable is available or not. For example, today one of the community members asked me if the auto brake panel can be accessed through age variables, and I was taking a look at that. So basically how I identified that, I was searching for brake and see if we have something in brake. Not really, no. So let's say for auto, do we have something with auto brake? Yeah, we have auto brake terrain on ND, landing gear, auto brake low. Here we have it. So I'm checking for auto brake max first, and in auto brake max we do not have a Sobo. Oh no, we have a Sobo GT button push, and inside that we see we have here an L variable, and this means we cannot access that, and we cannot say that XML var auto brakes level 3 because we have it on max. We cannot set that because we cannot access the local or the LVARs, so to speak. What we can control is the K event, set auto brake control, and as far as I understood, the K set auto brake control means that you set auto brake to low in the A320. So unless we have a step to use and to access LVARs, we cannot control that right now. So another thing I would like to show you is the logger function. So let's say we want to see what the auto brake low button is doing when we press it. We can see a Sobo GT button is still the same. So auto brakes level is equals 1, or 1 equals the rest of the code. And if we scroll down, we can see in mouse rect and inside the logger, when we open that, we can see then when we press the button what the simulator is doing. So make sure that the logger is open. Now I press the auto brake low button and you can see something is changing, and now we can read and identify and try to find out what is going on in the simulator by hovering over the variables like the local or the L variable and the K variable and another L variable. So we can see a lot of variables and we can identify what is going on by pressing the button and see what the logger does. So that's it for this quick video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And if you learned something, please share it also with the community so we can participate in your workflow and your steps. Thank you very much and see you soon.
All right, for myself, I can definitely say that I have learned a lot from this video. Thanks, Roffler, again for this awesome tutorial and the great effort that you have put into it. All right, so thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you liked this video tutorial and this community format. I mean, I would love to see more contributions from you guys. You're doing an amazing job there with this community work. We help each other, we support each other. If you haven't done yet, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell, receive notifications whenever videos get uploaded. Also, register for free on our MobiFlight.com website and become a member of this awesome home cockpit builder community. A lot of people with a lot of creative ideas, and everyone is supporting each other. Also, if you please want to share any thoughts or comments, feedback, please use the comment section and let me know. I typically respond to all of your comments. Okay, so with this, happy cockpit building, and see you the next time around when I release a new video. Bye bye.